There have been many underrated seasons, but one season has always stuck out to me and that never seems to be brought up too often. Kobe Bryant in 2012-2013. This was the last true season of the Black Mamba. This season is overshadowed due to Kobe rupturing his Achilles and ultimately ending the Kobe Bryant that we once knew. But when we look at the magnitude of this season, the circumstances, the level of difficulty, Kobe literally put his body on the line this season. So without further ado, let's get into another segment of Hoop Insight. Entering the 2012-2013 NBA season, the headlines were all about the super team that was formed in Los Angeles, with the starting five consisting of a 38-year-old Steve Nash, a 34-year-old Kobe Bryant, 27-year-old Dwight Howard, and a 32-year-old Pau Gasol and a 33-year-old Metta World Peace. Steve Nash was already nearing the end of his career, and he missed 32 games this season with a leg injury and a back injury. Dwight Howard rushed back from a back injury himself, as well as playing with an injured labrum for the entire season. Pau Gasol seemed to have aged 20 years in 2 seasons, and Metta World Peace, well, he was still Metta World Peace.
What is that? Oh shit, what is that?
The beginning of the season, the Lakers entered as one of the contenders to win it all, with their newly formed super team. The injuries piled up and the season started to go downhill fast. Come around All-Star time, the Lakers saw themselves sitting at the 13th seed, with a 25-29 record and 3.5 games behind the 8th seeded Rockets. In order for the Lakers to have made the playoffs, they had to go 20-8 post-All-Star break in order to give them a shot at making the playoffs. Everyone had seemed to give up on their Lakers and the playoffs. That is, everyone except for Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant went absolutely Super Saiyan this season, putting this banged-up Lakers squad on his back while playing 38.6 minutes per game. That was the second highest minutes per game that season and the highest minutes per game for anyone in their 30s. After All-Star break, Kobe promised the Lakers would make the playoffs that season despite sitting at the 13th seed, and people thought it was pretty much impossible due to the way the season was panning out. But when you have the mindset of Kobe Bryant, you truly believe anything is possible and you will do anything to make it happen. Kobe that season had one of his greatest statistical seasons of his career, averaging 27.6 points per game, 6 assists per game, 5.6 rebounds per game, and 47 field goal percentage. Kobe was doing heroic things in order to get the Lakers to the playoffs this year. We saw him getting banged up like when he rolled his ankle, which had seemed to be pretty severe, and in the most Kobe-like way possible, he went out on the court the next game and tried to play through it. But at the end of the day, we saw he was human and he had to sit out that game due to the injury. But he only missed 2 games and came back dominating. One game that sticks out amongst these is versus the Raptors. Of course, because we know how much Kobe liked to beat up on the Raptors.
He had, I think, 3 consecutive 30-point games.
Kobe reverse layup to score. Donald here in for Joel. 2 minutes along night in a month. Here's Kobe. Awesome. It's a double-double just about every night. Kobe is back in and not a moment.
Well, they're giving him the ball to see if he can add to it.
Yes, he does. Still 6.5 to play in the third. He pulls up for a 3. Yes! Kobe again. Here's Kobe trying to move around Mo Pete. Trying to put him up. Finally shoots. Counted.
Every game at this time was a must-win. They were basically already in the playoffs. The Lakers entered this game with a 500 record, and this game was really the turning point for the Lakers season. I actually remember listening into this game, and I'll never forget it. This was before I had any streaming websites to watch the games, and I didn't own League Pass or NBA TV, so I had no way of watching this. But the NBA used to have a free radio listen-in function, so I was listening live to the game, and I just remember the announcer being breathtaking about Kobe Bryant. I still get goosebumps thinking about these kind of moments. The Lakers saw themselves down 5 points with 2 minutes left in the game. Kobe gets the ball on the wing and he was trying to make something happen. But with the shot clock winding down, he pump faked to get his defender in the air, throws up a vintage Kobe Bryant shot and hits it to cut the lead to 105 to 103. The Lakers needed a stop now but couldn't get it, and D'Antoni calls for a timeout with only 31 seconds remaining, with the Lakers down 4. But when you have Kobe Bryant, you always have a chance. The Lakers come out of the huddle and run a play, which was basically give Kobe the ball. Kobe separates from his defender and runs straight to the corner on a catch and shoot. He fades back with the defender all over him. He hits another three in the corner, and only a couple seconds come off the clock, and now the Lakers are down 107 to 106 with only 29.3 seconds remaining. At this point, I'm just on the edge of my seat going crazy listening to this right now.
Sun is down, freezing cold, that's how we are.
So again, it came down to the Lakers needing a stop. But once again, they couldn't get it, and they go down 3 points with only 8.4 seconds left. But guess what? Kobe wasn't done yet. The Raptors knew the ball was going to Kobe. Everyone in the gym knew that. So Kobe gets open, and as soon as he gets the ball, he has two defenders running at him. He pump fakes on the first one and gets him in the air, and then Kobe had the room to shoot it. The defender makes a great contest, but when Kobe got into that Mamba mode, there was nothing you could do except hope he missed. And he didn't miss this time. He made his third three-pointer in a row, tying the game 109 to 109 and forcing overtime. I was flipping out just listening to the madness going on.
When it's here, my dog will probably do it for Louis Bell.
Then Kobe sealed the game with a game-winning dunk with only a few seconds remaining in the game and putting the Lakers up 118 to 116, and they finally got the start they needed. Kobe finished this game with 41 points on 50% shooting, 12 assists, and 6 rebounds. And it was after this game I knew Kobe was going to fulfill his promise of getting the Lakers to the playoffs. Through the final 15 games of that season, Kobe averaged 25.4 points per game, 7.1 assists per game, and 6 rebounds per game. And the Lakers went 13-6 in the home stretch of the season. The Lakers were going to make the playoffs for the 8th consecutive season, and Bryant was going to be the reason. It seemed like Kobe was going to do it again, but then it happened.
From their reserves, Bryant again going to work, falls down. Again, he's struggling. And he's going to stay down there for a bit.
Trying to massage that left ankle a little bit.
And he is hurting. But the Lakers down by 2, and they want him and need him at the free throw line. Got it.
Yeah, not backpedaling or whatever he has to do to get to the other end. If, in fact, he gets to the other end before a foul, maybe.
Made him.
This was the end of the Kobe that we all knew, the Black Mamba. Kobe literally put his body on the line this season. He was such a warrior, such a fighter, that it cost him. Playing nearly 40 minutes per game at 34 years old and having to do what he was doing on a nightly basis will take a toll on anyone, even Kobe. Kobe was able to hit his 2 free throws and walk off the court despite rupturing his Achilles, as we all know. At that moment, that is what overshadowed how great of a season Kobe actually just had. Had the Lakers been able to win more games, I believe he should have been the MVP for that season, because without Kobe, that team is a 30-win team or less. People remember that season as the end of the true Kobe because of that injury, but I watched the entire year and I can say that that is a top 2 or 3 season of his entire career. Whether we're talking statistically or just heroics or carrying a team in general, he did it all that year. So much so, it cost him the rest of his career. It was a shame we never got to see him play in the playoffs, which he worked so hard to get to. And all of that for the Lakers to get swept first round by the Spurs was such a tough blow to watch as a Lakers fan, and I know how hard it must have been for Kobe to watch that. But who knows what could have happened if Kobe was actually playing. If Kobe never ruptured his Achilles, he could have continued playing at that level for a few more years. He could have been the #1 scorer in the NBA. He could have had more All-NBA teams. He could have played in more All-Star games. He could have extended his entire career and had an even greater legacy than one he already had. I think a lot of people took Kobe's greatness for granted. The things he did on the court and his career in general get overlooked. If you guys would like to hear more of my views about Kobe, then check out my first ever Disrespect of an NBA Legend series video, which was on Kobe Bryant. So let's stop taking greatness for granted. Let's stop hating. Stop comparing so much. Stop downplaying other great players in order to make another one look better. Let's stop the disrespect and just appreciate the great ones while they're still here. Because we never truly know how long they'll be around for, and we never seem to appreciate them until they're gone. So rest in peace to Kobe and Gigi. Kobe is the reason I make these videos, and he's the reason I love the game of basketball. and the reason I am building this platform to be able to inspire others the same way he inspired me. So if you all enjoyed this, please remember to leave a like, drop a comment down below, and of course, subscribe. And as always, it's your boy Jared from Hoot Network signing off. Until next time, peace out, y'all.